All right, so as you all know, the tariffs are now officially in effect when it comes to Mexico and Canada. And Justin Trudeau decided that basically the second that these tariffs go into place, he's going to immediately issue retaliatory tariffs of the exact same number. It's basically a way of just standing up for himself, standing up for Canada, saying we're not going to take this lying down. Hey, I don't want this, but you brought it upon us, so hey, we're playing defense here, right? You wanted the trade war, you got a trade war. That's effectively what's going on. So Trudeau comes out and gives a speech, and man, this is an absolute blistering takedown of Trump. Here we go.
The United States launched a trade war against Canada, their closest partner and ally, their closest friend. At the same time, they're talking about working positively with Russia, appeasing Vladimir Putin, a lying, murderous dictator. Make that make sense.
Look, it's kind of undeniable at this point that Trump really has this thing of like, fuck you to all of our allies, except Israel, of course, and Saudi Arabia. Those are the two. By the way, financially entangled with those two, and they're very authoritarian, those two, and happens to be the only two allies of ours that he's still on good terms with. But all of the other allies, it's fuck you, fuck the horse you rode in on, and then it's like positive things to say about Putin, positive things to say. Remember all the things he said in the first term about Kim Jong-un? And then we fell in love. We wrote love letters to each other. He literally said this. Don't take my word for it. Type in, we fell in love, Trump, Kim Jong-un, and your mind will be blown if you don't remember this. This is from the first term. So why is it always positive things to say about authoritarians, but like nothing but bile and negativity for our allies, right? I mean, Canada, really? If Canada's beefing with you, bro, it 100% was your fault. They would not throw the first punch in any scenario. All right, here we go.
Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake. At the moment, the U.S. tariffs came into effect in the early hours of this morning, and so did the Canadian response. Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods.
Guys, we trade so much with Canada and Mexico. Like, I don't think people truly understand how much we trade with Canada and Mexico. I don't think people really understand it.
Starting with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining $125 billion of American products in 21 days' time. Challenging these illegal actions by filing dispute resolution claims at the World Trade Organization and through the USMCA.
By the way, that's another important point. Trump signed a new free trade agreement with Canada. So he scrapped NAFTA and then basically revised NAFTA, and that's called the USMCA, right? So Trump was bragging about, I got the best trade deal ever with Mexico and Canada. And then now he comes in there, these trade deals are horrible with Mexico and Canada. I'm going to scrap them. I'm going to do tariffs now. You fucking made the deal. You made the deal. You signed it. You were singing its praises. And now it's like, I hate the deal I made. I'm going to now do something else completely.
Our tariffs will remain in place until the U.S. tariffs are withdrawn, and not a moment sooner. And should these tariffs not cease, we are in active and ongoing discussions with provinces and territories to pursue several non-tariff measures.
By the way, I mean, I love how the U.S. is doing literally everything it possibly can to make people have a global realignment and snuggle up to like China, right? We're doing everything in our power for people to look at us and say, those motherfuckers are crazy. They're completely untrustworthy. They're unfit to lead. You cannot rely on them. Let me go to a country that's more reliable and become an ally with them, right? And China's just sitting there waiting. Like, it's that meme that you see all the time of like, President Xi, do nothing, win. That's what's happening right now.
Measures which will demonstrate that there are no winners in a trade war. Now, just like I did a month ago, I want to speak first directly to the American people. We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you. As of this morning, markets are down, and inflation is set to rise dramatically all across your country. Your government has chosen to put American jobs at risk, at the thousands of workplaces that succeed because of materials from Canada or because of consumers in Canada or both. They've chosen to raise costs for American consumers on everyday essential items like groceries and gas, on major purchases like cars and homes.
By the way, I should point out that if you haven't seen this poll, you got to go see it. The Liberal Party in Canada was dead. Trudeau's party was absolutely dead. And then because of how insane Trump and Elon have been, their support line has gone like this. Their numbers have gone straight up. And the line of the Conservatives, led by Pierre Poilievre or whatever his name is, it just plummeted, absolutely tanked. I've literally never in my life seen a more severe swing in polling numbers and support. So the Liberals were dead. They were definitely going to lose the election to the Conservatives. Now, it's a dead heat. It was like their number went like this and their Conservative number went like that. It was crazy.
And everything in between. They've chosen to harm American national security, impeding access to the abundant critical minerals, energy, building materials, and fertilizers that we have and that the United States needs to grow and prosper. They've chosen to launch a trade war that will, first and foremost, harm American families. They've chosen to sabotage their own agenda that was supposed to usher in a new golden age for the United States.
He's absolutely killing Trump, and everything he's saying here is completely factual. Like, none of this is opinion-based or ideological. It's just like, hey, here's what happened, and here are going to be the results.
And they've chosen to undermine the incredible work we've done together to tackle the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that must be wiped from the face of the earth. So on that point, let me be crystal clear. There is absolutely no justification or need whatsoever for these tariffs today.
By the way, the number is it's only 0.2% or 0.02% of fentanyl comes from Canada. And that was Trump's excuse, until they crack down on the fentanyl coming from their country, tariff time it is.
Now, the legal pretext your government is using to bring in these tariffs is that Canada is apparently unwilling to help in the fight against illegal fentanyl. Well, that is totally false. Let's look at the facts. Our border is already safe and secure. Far less than 1% of fentanyl flows and less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States comes from Canada. But we acted because we know we can always do better. We responded to concerns, including from the president, by implementing an ambitious $1.3 billion border plan. A border plan that includes generational investments in new AI and imaging tools to stop the flow of fentanyl in its tracks, stronger coordination and information sharing with American agencies, along with the deployment of drones, helicopters, and additional personnel to keep our border secure.
I'm not even a big Justin Trudeau fan, but listening to this speech and what he's saying, it really does make clear how insane the United States has become, how fascist we've become, because he's just like a standard liberal politician. And you listen to him and you're like, Jesus Christ, this is like 50 trillion times an improvement over what we have now in the U.S.
Now, a month ago, as part of an agreement with the United States that paused the tariffs, we made further commitments. We appointed Kevin Brasseau as our fentanyl czar, a man who dedicated his multi-decade career in law enforcement to combating organized crime networks and drug trafficking. We designated 7 drug cartels, sick, evil groups who cynically profit off the pain and suffering of people on both sides of the border, as the terrorist organizations that they are.
Yeah, that I don't agree with, for the very simple reason that the reason Trump did that in the U.S. is to give himself the legal ability to launch a war against Mexico, to invade Mexico, to send drones, to send fighter jets, to send special ops forces. It gives him the ability to say, oh, they're designated as a terrorist organization, so us invading Mexico is just part of the war on terror. So we don't even need Congress. If Congress tells us not to go, we say, fuck off, we don't care. So that's why Trump did that. It was a trick, right? It was a trick. But it sounds like what Justin Trudeau is doing is he was basically trying to appease Trump leading up to this. To be like, look, what do you want? Whatever you want so that so that you don't slap fucking idiotic tariffs on us. You want us to say the drug cartels are terrorists? Fine, we'll say they're terrorists too. That's what it sounds like he did. But on that one, It was a very nefarious reason why Trump came up with that ludicrous notion. And so he kind of went along with it when he probably shouldn't have.
And just yesterday, we launched a new joint operations partnership supported by a $200 million investment between Canada's security and law enforcement agencies, a partnership that will enhance the coordination of information and intelligence in order to thwart criminal gangs involved in the illegal fentanyl trade. And critically, our actions are working. As the U.S. Customs and Border Protection just acknowledged, there was a 97% drop in fentanyl seizures from January compared to December, to a near zero low of less than half an ounce seized in January.
My God.
Even with all the further enforcements and actions we've taken at the borders.
So in other words, it's like that literally has nothing to do with it. Trump's lying. And the question remains, why the hell is he putting these tariffs on Mexico and on Canada and on our allies? Why is he doing it? And it's either total stupidity and incompetence, or he's a foreign asset and he's genuinely trying to destroy the United States, or there's some nefarious plan where he knows the robber barons will profit if the economy crashes temporarily or otherwise, and that's effectively why he's doing it. I don't know. But, man, Canada's not playing around. I know Mexico's not playing around. By the way, Claudia Sheinbaum, the leader of Mexico, who is part of the Morena party, which is AMLO's party, we just got her new approval rating number, 85%. Why? Because Morena is actually social democratic. They help out working people. And also, Claudia Sheinbaum has stood up to Trump aggressively, and her people love her for it. At the same time, Trump's numbers are tanking in this country. Elon Musk's numbers are horrendous. And look, all I can say is I really, really hope these fucking tariffs go away. That's all I can say. But there's definitely something nefarious going on. And if they were to stay in place, man, you're looking at a catastrophe. You're looking at a recession, if not a depression. You're looking at stagflation. You're looking at mass pain all across this country. And Justin Trudeau knows that. And he's laying down the gauntlet and telling everybody the truth. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.